It's better in English. Yes.
Chỗ nào quan trọng nói tiếng Việt.
Working in TV, I met a lot of ambassadors and a lot of Americans who are wanting to help out Vietnam. They're just not knowing how, what ways to help out Vietnam. So I decided to go on this trip to understand more about Vietnam so that I can explain to them, we can start programs to start helping the Vietnamese people.
Okay.
And so really my purpose of the trip was going to understand how life was for the common Vietnamese person. Yeah.
So how did you help them?
Oh, well, it's not helping them yet. Going to understand about how Vietnamese people live, what Vietnam is about, and how the people are.
Yeah. Do you do homestay all the way?
Yeah, I asked, everywhere I went, because I have no money, I can't go into a hotel, so I asked for a place to stay.
And what do you do for a change for food?
I was also asked
Do
for
some
food.
house work?
I don't know, just asking for food, but a lot of times I'll stop for 2-3 days to do work with the farmers or with whatever. So on the road, I harvested rice, fishing, lots of work.
Risk very high.
Have you ever done it before?
No, first time.
Hitchhiked.
Yeah, but first time doing those farmer work.
Oh yeah, first time, yeah.
You did it well?
Actually, there's a lot of people say I was pretty efficient. So.
You can find a lot of articles about him when you search John Hùng Trần on Google. And he also want to encourage Vietnamese people, go along with Vietnam and see the difference around the world and see the people around the world like him.
Yeah, but female cannot walk all the way across the country.
What do you think about it?
Actually, I mean, I don't encourage anyone to walk because the roads in Vietnam is really bad. 80%, actually, the way they try to cut costs, so 80% of the road is just actually rocks. And they only put about 10 to 20% of asphalt on top. So walking, I wouldn't encourage anyone to walk.
You understand about Vietnam very much.
You did some kind of report over that?
Was that?
You did some kind of report or anything? You told at the beginning that you were doing that inside a kind of association for helping Vietnam. Did you write anything? Or
oh, no. I didn't. I just got this idea because I've been living here for a year, and I thought, there's so many things that are going wrong, there's so many problems. And there's actually a lot of foreign aid coming into Vietnam to help the farmers, help the Vietnamese people. But for some reason, I can't say why exactly, but there's no results. I mean, the people are still. If you go outside the city, if you go out to the countryside, 70% of Vietnamese people still live in the countryside. They're still very poor. They don't have access to education, basic, essentials. So.
The question was, you're talking here about it. Have you talked to, or have you done after your trip?
Oh, I actually just returned last week.
Okay, so you're planning to talk about it, to write about it, or something like this?
Write about it, I haven't decided yet.
Okay, it's been a big job.
Yeah. But I'm starting to work on a lot of projects that I saw on the road. For example, in Nguyen, I stayed with ethnic minority people for 4 or 5 days. 4 or 5 days. And the ethnic minorities in Vietnam, they're pretty much ignored. If you go up there, access the roads to their villages are horrible. And so most people, they're kind of just left up in the mountains and they're forgotten. And so I went to a lot of schools and met a lot of people there, and so they're kids, they don't have textbooks, they don't have clothes, and so right now we're working on a big clothes and book drive and charity work to collect all these things together, and they're going to take it up there and they give it to the ethnic minority.
Okay, that's a good result.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to take a long time, and by myself I can't do a lot, and so I feel like slowly, we can get some changes.
You are my idol now. You want to share some kind of funny story? What is the most impressive thing that you've seen?
Most impressive?
Out of the blue or something? where you stay with people?
Um,
Have you ever been in some kind of awkward situation?
I had a lot. One interesting story on the road is in Ving, I met this, I don't know how to translate to English. Dumpling? Dumpling is what?
Dumpling?
It's Vietnamese. Psychical stuff?
Like psychic stuff. And so there's this man, so there's a psychic I met in Ving, and he's actually from Taiwan. And he was saying, you know, before I even opened my mouth to say anything, he said, last month someone came to me and said there will be a Vietnamese American coming to my house.
Really?
And yeah, and that stuff, and that stuff I don't really believe. I don't know much about it, and I'm not saying that I don't believe or I do believe. And so I asked him, you know, you probably saw me on TV or something, because he said my face was familiar. I said, no, I don't think we ever met before. And so he was telling me, and I actually followed him for a day. A lot of people came and asked, what's the future going to be like? And the only thing he told me was, he said to keep your health because in the future you would do a lot of good things. But I asked him more, but he didn't say anything. All he gave me was a pink mirror and a pink coal. And he said to never lose it.
Pink?
Yeah, pink. It was pink. It was bright pink. And he said, I said, I don't need this. He said, no, you have to keep it. It's very important. I don't know what the meaning of a pink mirror and a pink comb is. But he said, yeah. I asked another psychic, and they said the mirror is supposed to like defend against spirits.
Yes.
No, yes.
Tomorrow I will buy pink.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to ask him something? Have questions?
You have some projects to do, right?
Yeah, lots of.
Can you share with us?
You have to do this by yourself.
I have some friends working on it. Also working on 2 projects on the website. One is to help Vietnamese people improve their English. The other one is a website like a YouTube for Vietnamese people, because on the internet in English you have access to anything. You want to learn or understand anything, it's all there in English. But in Vietnamese it's very limited. And to be real, the English proficiency in Vietnam is very low. So what we're doing is we're working with a lot of universities, MIT, Harvard, and a lot of websites like TED Talk and Khan Economy to translate these videos and articles into Vietnamese so that Vietnamese people can learn about different things like psychology, business, science, things that aren't available in Vietnam.
It's like visual library.
Yeah, like that, like
I know.
like a library.
Some website like tabs.
Yeah.
Video.
Mm-hmm.
I know someone doing project translating English to Vietnamese.
Cái trang mà anh nói xong rồi.
Okay, so what is the most difficulty you got on the way of traveling?
The most difficult thing, there actually wasn't that anything that really stood out as being difficult.
Toilets?
It was, I mean, I
Toilet
got used
must
to
be
it.
one of the most difficult.
Because, I'll tell you a funny story, it's kind of embarrassing now.
That's what I was asking before.
Yeah, so when I started off in the north, it was rice harvesting season. So I stayed with the family to harvest rice. And one day my stomach was starting to hurt. We were out in the field.
Diarrhea?
It was probably. So I turned to the lady, the old lady, and said, sorry, where's the restroom? And she pointed up to the bushes up there. And I was expecting like a small bathroom or something. So I went up there, I saw bushes, so I came back and said, I'm sorry, I don't see any restroom. And then I was thinking, oh, but I couldn't, I wouldn't be able to run back home. And she says, no, up there. And then I said, okay, the hell with it, I'll go anyway. But no toilet paper. The only thing around were leaves, and so you figure out what happened.
Tree.
There was no tree, there were just little bushes. So the leaves were about the size, so you have to kind of put 3 leaves together for it to kind of work.
Okay, all your hands.